Great.
Hi.
So we are live. How are you, Soin?
Fine, fine. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, absolutely brilliant.
As
And
as you
for a
can
change
see, today I've not put on a suit.
oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Yes,
We
tell
we
me. You
walk.
were saying something about your end.
Sorry, no, I was just talking about the weather here. I mean, it's 7 degrees. I know you are in that 34-degree environment back in Nairobi, while here in London we are at 7 degrees. But I mean, for it's pleasant than what it has been in the past. So I think I'll take that as a positive.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Here
yes,
it's
yes.
it's blistering heat, and it's been the temperatures have been going up. Even today, it's reaching 34 degrees.
Wow, 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 wow. That is amazing. I think we already have some attendees coming in. When are we starting? We are starting at 11 my time, yeah?
Yes, we should start at exactly on the dot. Just give
Yes.
it a few minutes for everyone else to enter. We
Right,
do
right.
have some attendees, and we just wait for others to join in so that we can start this interesting topic today.
And it's 11 o'clock on the dot.
Yes.
Welcome, a very warm welcome to all of you joining us for this particular live webinar where we are going to share with you the top 5 mistakes business owners make that is costing them profits and the impact it is making to businesses as we move forward. Unfortunately, adverse impact. So we're going to talk to you about the gaps, we're going to talk to you about the leakages, we're going to talk about the red flags as well. So there's quite a lot to really grasp, and we'll be giving you tools and strategies. But anyway, for those who don't know me, my name is Vijay Mistry. I'm the CEO and founder of Rentadirector. I'm based here in London, United Kingdom. Beautiful weather. I'm not complaining. And I'm joined today by my business partner, Soin Shah, back in Nairobi, Kenya, enjoying a 34 degrees of weather. Over to you, Soin, for your
Yes.
introduction.
As I said earlier, it's real blistering heat, and I just wanted to say a shout out to all those attendees who have joined in. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you who are out there globally. Uh, I do welcome you for this webinar, which is going to be an interesting one, and I do impress upon you to take notes across the webinar. We will, of course, be giving a handout at the end, which will be very interesting, and we will open it up. Of course, the chat is open to post your questions. We will be responding to them at the end of the presentation, and where we can't, because of time, we will attempt to answer your questions through mail. That's why we always ask for the email addresses. So thank you very much for those for the participants who have actually registered and already joined. A shout out to Dimple Shah who has joined. Tinotenda Mexico, welcome on board. Rebecca Jenkins, as always, thank you very much. Visanti Palerao and Sweta Shah, Victor Muene, welcome on board. I hope I have pronounced your names correctly. Please feel free to chat online and let us put a shout out as to just to say hi and let us know where you are from so that we know that we are speaking to participants here, and this is something that's also going to be interactive to a certain extent. Of course, we want to make sure we are in time to make sure we complete this in good time. Yeah, over to you, Vijay.
Thank you, Soin. And obviously, Rebecca Jenkins has already given us a good morning. And Rebecca, by the way, is our business associate as well. So you can connect with Rebecca, who's very good with sales, converting sales for businesses. But here's the thing that we promise you to give you value every single minute of this particular webinar. We want to keep it short. We want to give you as much value as possible. And we've got some acronyms for you to grasp the insights with ease. Now, the only little caveat that I have is I hope I don't have an internet glitch. So I'll try my level best in making sure that we don't have that sort of a glitch. But that's why we got a plan B, and I've got Soin with me. So let's go straight into this particular training. And what I want to do is I just want to kick off by telling you a little bit about us. Why should you even listen to us in the first place? So we'll go straight into what we have really done. One of the key accomplishments and achievements Soin and I have had is that we've grown a company by fourfold in 18 months post-pandemic. And this is in the manufacturing space itself, which just goes to show the opportunity, the capability, the how you need to really look at things with a different lens altogether. So this is one of the key elements that we want to really share with you. Secondly, what differentiates Soin and me is that we have the ability to identify red flags with ease. And we've had many coaching sessions. We are talking about that in About Us as well. And we've got the capability of really grasping and finding out exactly what are some of the red flags with speed, as we put it. And we've got a record of growing a company 20-fold in the service sector. In fact, there was an audit practice I had which grew 40-fold in 24 months. Now, this was obviously a couple of decades ago, so it was a long time ago, but we will give you some elements because there are certain pillars and certain insights which we are going to share, which even work today. So we'll be sharing those with you. Soin and I, we've coached and consulted over 100 CEOs, executives, post-pandemic from different parts of the world, whether it's Morocco, UK, Africa, we're talking about continents, Asia. So we've had it all over. So we know exactly what is that common pattern of challenges businesses really face. And one of the unique positioning is that Soin and I are not really any ordinary leadership coaching. And by the way, leadership coaching has now evolved. What we look at is leadership impact strategies. So whenever we have sessions, it's leadership impact sessions or leadership transformation sessions. So that is the twist. That is the turnaround. That is what we really do. And that really is what really moves the needle as such. And we've got award-winning programs. We've got Business Excellence Blueprint, which are the 5 building blocks to scale up your business with ease. We've got Finance for Directors. We've got Achieving Boardroom Excellence. We've got quite a few programs, Business Fraud as well. So those are the programs which has an award from the green light status from the UK Trade and Investment. We'll now go into competencies, and I'll pass it over to Soin to share what are some of our competencies so you know exactly where we stand. So over to you, Soin.
Thank you, Vijay. And yes, of course, you already know, as far as competencies is concerned, we are talking about leadership, and this is what we keep on discussing, and this is our position. Next one is basically having board effectiveness, and this is important because we want to make sure every minute and every moment and every decision or action is valued. It's important. And all this combined with the CFO skills and marketing are adding much more value to the businesses. And this is what we stand for. We keep adding value. As we speak, even today, as we stand here, a lot of people ask, why we keep on doing this? I mean, let me tell you, this is actually the tip of the iceberg. And we want to do much, much more. And we keep working on a lot of businesses, CEOs and executives with businesses of all sizes, from small to large, globally that is, in how to make sure that the path to growth and excellence is smooth and full of fun. This is important. And of course, we're going to go to the next points, and you'll see what are the things that need to be done to make sure that mistakes are avoided. And of course, I'm going into the next slide, so I don't want to take the thunder from Vijay. But yeah, over to you, Vijay.
Yes, thank you. And like what Soin has said, that we've got all these skills, leadership, board effectiveness, CFO, marketing, value addition, which is very important. And we look at a heat map, a business heat map, and we look at all the components and see how best we can leverage and systems. It's all about systems, making sure the
Systems.
preparation is there. But at the same time, we have the oversight mechanisms as well to make sure that there is that consistency in place. And finally, we work with CEOs and executives globally, and it doesn't matter what size of your company you have. You could be a micro entity, or you could be a company of $50 million turnover. Doesn't matter, you'll get the value, because we tailor make and we make sure we tweak our approach, making sure that we provide the best services we can to help you to scale up and to help you to grow. So let's move straight into the training itself, and I'll start off with bandwidth. My dear friends, write this down. Bandwidth. The biggest problem that many businesses face is they don't have that bandwidth. That lens needs to be widened. So, what do I really mean by bandwidth? Bandwidth means that, the direction that you need to have a specific point of destination. Sadly, family businesses, entrepreneurs, even large companies for that particular matter, they don't have a clear direction. There is misalignment. It is not, uh, like I said, there is this misalignment, but they're not on the same page. So, what do I really mean? If you have that in place, if you have that collective intentions in place, what's going to happen? You will be able to harness and accelerate your growth with excitement, with ignition, with impact. So why would that really change? Because you got a purpose, you got a solid mission, you got that vision in place, which gives you that macro perspective. By the way, this applies to, even managers, executives or directors or CEOs, doesn't matter. This applies in your personal journey as well as your business journey. So, this is why it is so important to increase your bandwidth. And that, my dear friends, if you do that, just one thing, I promise you, within 6 months, you will see the impact and the difference it's going to make to whatever you're doing. You could be shaping your life, you could be shaping your business, you could be shaping your career, doesn't matter. 6 months from now, you'll see a different, complete different picture altogether. I'll pass it over to Soin to give you a little bit more, and he'll share the acronym that we have as well. Over to you, Soin.
Yes, I think Vijay has put it clearly. And this is all about lacking leadership at the top. And, when there is no leadership at the top, you're completely directionless. And I must say there are a number of companies who actually lack complete direction. And this is where the problem starts. So what is the solution here? Yeah. And here we say that getting clarity at the top is absolutely very important. And understanding exactly where you want to reach, where do you want to be? And this is the question we keep on asking. Where do you guys want to be in 5 years' time? What do you want to accomplish? That's the biggest question. So we keep saying that, we don't want reactions or overreactions. Market conditions keep changing. They are fluctuating, and it's a cycle, as we always say. So what are we talking here in this acronym that has been crafted here? Are we saying that what are we really saying? Are we saying lead means just lead itself? No, it actually means a very powerful aspect, and that is number one, learn. Please, I hope you're writing this down. Expand, adapt, and I might ask you guys, and you can share your answers in the chat. What is the fourth X? What does the fourth letter stand for? Any takers? Any takers?
Anybody wants to give a try what D stands for?
Okay, I think people are shy, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
But maybe you and I would be, oh, there, we got Hassan who's saying direction, drive.
Excellent.
I mean, they all make sense. Determination,
Determination.
fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you,
Thank you
Hassan.
very much.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, this goes to show what we can really accomplish, and this is what really makes it different altogether. But the D stands for develop.
Develop.
But you can obviously determination, drive, absolutely fantastic insights as well. So this is what the acronym really stands for. The lead itself is to learn, is to expand. We're looking at widening the whole spectrum as such, adapt, and finally you can have the drive, or you can have the determination, or you can develop as well. So this is what it is all about. That is where you're going to get the progression taking place. Shall we move to the second one?
Yes, please.
All right. How come I can't see the slide?
Should be there with you shortly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about this. I don't know, somehow or the other. So we got the bandwidth. And let me see if I can open my slides. Can everybody see the second slide?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. So the second one is right fit. And by the way, I don't know, somehow or the other, I'm aided by my PowerPoint, my own PowerPoint up here. So right fit. When we are talking about the right fit, here's the thing. Do you have the right people on board, the right team members? And I'll give you a couple of examples. What happened is, and let me give you an analogy here. Say you go to a fruit shop and you see this red, juicy apple. What's the first impression you're going to get? I mean, can anybody put in the chat box? What do you think? When you take a bite, what would you expect? Rebecca, Hassan, anybody? I mean, if you see a red apple and you buy it, what would you expect? Exactly. To taste great. You would expect it to be juicy. You would expect it to be sweet. You could expect it to be just, as per your expectation. But here's the problem. Here's what happens is that in businesses, I have noted, and again, another manufacturing business, what happened is that they recruited this salesperson, and this salesperson, he gave them heaven. He opened up a whole complete element of saying that I will take this strategy, I'll do this marketing strategy, I'm going to get this sort of sales, and this is what I'm going to do. These are the heat maps, these are the territories I'm going to really sort of make sure that we dominate. 3 months later, the results were not there. The point that I'm trying to raise is that do you have the right fit? Because if you don't have the right fit, if you don't have the right people, and you might have the right people, but again, the culture might be different. That goes back into leadership. So you need to make sure that you have the right fit. The alignment is important. And how do you get the alignment? Is by making sure that you appraise as well every now and again. You need to make sure every 6 weeks or 12 weeks, depending on the size and complexity of your organization, you need to have that connectivity in place. Doesn't matter. You could be having 100 employees or 200 employees or 10,000 employees, doesn't matter. But if you have that cascading, tiers within your firm, you could make sure that, that same sort of spillover of energy level is sort of spread all over your organization. So it is very important to make sure that you have that bridge in place, to have the right people. I'll pass it over to Soin to add to what I've said. Soin, over to you.
I think, Vijay, you have rightfully said that sadly there is clearly a lacuna in terms of caliber of skills at the top, and this is becoming questionable more and more. many are actually very heavy at the top. There is a complete disconnect as far as emotional intelligence is concerned, and this actually reverberates across the company. You can see brothers having big egos and fighting over small matters, which then brings down the whole company. I mean, what we call penny wise pound foolish, or keep on, holding the tail when the elephant is gone out of the room. So these are the problems, and these are the costly errors that are impeding growth exponentially. And I repeat, heavy at the top and heavily relying on team members, one or two, who are not actually contributing at the levels, is creating a lot of issues. And of course, we keep saying that there is a diversity which is always lacking at the top. We have seen favoritism and all sorts of isms and obligations which should be thrown out of the window. Now, what we should do here is that we need to step back and actually ascertain who is taking the company for a ride. Do you really have the right people around you? Those are the questions that you really need to ask. And then, are you happy with the decisions that you're making? This is very important, and these are the questions that you need to keep on retrospectively asking yourself. We will move on to the next slide.
Sorry, Swin?
Yes, please.
Can I share the acronym
Go
itself?
Go ahead.
The acronym, the right acronym stands for respectful. So R stands for respectful. I stands for inclusivity, making sure that you include everyone. Yes. The G stands for growth mindset. Having that growth-oriented mindset, growth-oriented. Everybody wants to progress. Everybody wants to grow. Everyone wants to step up the game. So that growth orientation is very important. H stands for honesty. Integrity is key, and making sure that there is that honesty. And T, there are two elements I want to share as far as T is concerned. One is transparency, and the other is trust. The other day, just very recently, I was with another consultant, and we were sort of having a session with a client. And here's the thing, he said that, and I'll cut it very short, is that he said that, look, let us grow our sales, but we don't inform the head of sales that we are going to grow the sales. And I was in disagreement with that, because that is lack of transparency, and that intimidates, and that sort of spoils or suppresses the culture. That's my opinion, and I've seen this happening in very many businesses, because everybody's got an identity, everybody's got a way of doing it. And the way you have to handle is to make sure that you have those deep sessions with people who you believe have got the capability, and make sure you see how they can really grow. Give them that opportunity, work with them, but not isolate or work in silos on the same sort of space and trying to prove something, which is very detrimental, in my opinion, as far as the culture is. So I just wanted to share this particular practical example, which I just had a few days ago. So this is very important. This is why we talk about the right fit. Now, let's carry on, because your time is very important, and I want to make sure that we give you maximum value. Now, this is very important, my dear friends, holding on and give this a deeper think. Are you holding on to thoughts which you shouldn't be? On average, you and I, we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day, and 90% of our thoughts sort of spill over. Are you holding on to thoughts which are dragging you rather than helping you to scale up? That is the first question that I would ask you. Secondly, are you holding on to team members, like we spoke about the right fit, who are not really the right fit? Are you holding on to clients or customers who are not paying you on time, or who take a lot of time, and it's not value for money when you really look at the balance itself? Are you holding on to suppliers? And again, the likability factor comes in as well. And this is the thing, friendship on one side, business on another side. You need to distinguish the two. Even if it is brothers, by the way, I'm sorry, brothers, sisters, anybody, relatives, doesn't matter. you need to make sure if you have that sharpness, if you have got the skill sets, you need to make sure you have that segregation in place. Elephant in the room. Do you have any assets which you are not using and you have spent so much money on those assets? Or you have overheads, you're holding on to overheads which you could make do, or you could have leaner efficiencies. So you need to really give this a deeper think and a different perspective altogether. And here's one tip I want to give you. Every 8 weeks, minimum every 8 weeks, you need to check on what you are holding on. By the way, look, I'm guilty of holding on to certain clothes I don't wear. And the thing is, I need to clean my wardrobe up. And this is true for many of us. So we need to make sure that we need to give away, and we need to have that clarity. Once you let go, what's going to happen is you'll unleash and unlock a different level of energy and a different level of potential and a different level of thinking as well. So I press upon you to look into this holding on more carefully and give it more focus and leverage on it. I'll pass it over to Soin, who's going to share the acronym and give some insights as well. Over to you,
Yes.
Soin.
Thank you, Vijay. And yes, what is the solution here we're talking about? And the solution is simple. We need to act fast and with stealth. And of course, I would allude to how you want to skid with speed. And that's what cars do at times. So of course, there is a risk in it, but how you handle that risk is important, and how you manage it is very important. Now, here we have the LEAFs. Now, what does this acronym stand for? Is the question that I pose to all of you, and I would like to give it just a couple of minutes to hear what they have to say in the chat box, so that we make this interesting.
Soin, I think you're going to stretch it a bit too much. It's a long acronym, and I think you need to give them some hints.
Well, I think I talked about it when I was speaking. So let's hear from them what they have to say. I mean,
All right.
of course.
Anybody wants to give it a try? Our dear friend Rebecca,
Any takers?
or Hassan, or anybody else, please feel free. I mean, there are no right and wrong answers. Everything's got meaning behind it. So just share.
Okay.
Give us the first one.
Let's
I'll
give
give
you.
two.
Let's
No, give two. Leaders execute with.
Those are the first
Okay.
two: leaders and execute. Vijay has
Leaders
has
execute
removed
with.
the cat out of the hat.
So it's leaders execute with. Can anybody guess the AFS? Leaders execute with
I must appreciate
liability.
Hassan has tried, but is not there on the ball. Dimple has said liability. Carol is talking about attitude.
Okay. I mean, we are enjoying this. This is fantastic. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Acknowledgement. Here you go.
Okay, great. Ability. Fantastic. There you go. Affirmative. There you go. Flexibility. Wow.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Thank you.
Imagine what this is doing. This is called co-creation, my dear friends. What if we were all working in one company? Imagine the impact we could be making and the synergy we would be having together with all that we are sharing here. And this is what we need in businesses as well. But let me help you out. Leaders execute with agility, focus, and speed. But all of you have got insights which we really appreciate.
Thank you very much,
Leaders
guys.
execute with agility. So, they need to course correct where it needs to go. Focus, very important to focus, and with speed, what Soin was speaking about, skidding with speed. So you need speed, the urgency mindset, as we put it. So that is what we wanted to share with you so that you could grasp that idea. Shall we move to the next slide, Soin?
Yes, Vijay.
Brilliant. Now, I don't need to tell you much about this particular one, and I'm sure we must have experienced, all of us, about this lack of accountability. I have in many businesses that I have worked in the past, and I have sort of consulted. Soin and I, we've gone through this so many times. And that lacking accountability is this role duplicity. Again, we're talking about role duplicity, having two bosses in one particular business. It was a service entity. There were family members, but they were all giving. Both of them were giving instructions to this poor manager, who was saying that I don't know what to do first. So that balancing act, it was really a complete mess. So that was very important. The other thing is that clarity was missing, and clarity is where the power is. Clarity is where the impact is. So that was another key core component, missing piece, that I have noted in many businesses. And this accountability piece is not being taken seriously. Accountability, responsibility, and authority are all different. We know that. But accountability is basically owning up. And let me give you an example that if we have somebody who's cleaning offices, somebody who's cleaning an office, and he or she uses a broom or some cleaning equipment, and somehow it sort of breaks down. The one who doesn't hold themselves accountable would just say, sorry, I can't do any more because this is broken down. But the one who has that accountability piece will go that extra mile and see what they can do to fix it. They'll do whatever it takes to fix it. And the same happens with salespeople going on sales calls or anything. They'll do whatever it takes to make sure it happens. That is the difference, and that is what you really want. You want not the reactivity, but you want to have that proactivity in place. Over to you, Soin.
Uh, and I'm just responding. I appreciate the enthusiasm shared by everyone. Really like that, and it makes us feel that yes, there are definitely people willing to contribute in this webinar. Yeah. So over to what we are talking about in terms of lack of accountability. Of course, there are so many guys who do not want to accept their errors, and this happens over and over because, simply put, you want to put yourself in front, and leaders actually work from the back. So imagine this is completely opposite. So what Vijay talked about is so true in terms of no introspection, role duplicity, no clear job roles. The biggest thing here is what we see in many companies is value addition is absolutely missing, and this emanates from serious lack of, or weak, as we call it, weak feedback. And what leads thereon is that no follow through with precision, and this is a major disaster in the making. So I will not deep dive too much in this, but of course what I want to say here is that lack of accountability is a major drain on various kinds of businesses from big to small. This is something that needs to be tackled right from the top to the bottom. Vijay, shall we move to the next one? I think we are
Let's
running.
go. Yes, yes, yes. And at this stage, I hope everybody is getting value. Please share what you think about so far. We got Dimple, we've got Victor, we've got Rebecca, we've got Carol, Hassan. Please share insights. I hope you're getting value out of what we are talking about. And this is the fifth mistake many make. By the way, this is a mistake Soin and I made, and we want to share and the lessons learned. The first one is marketing. So it was in March 2020, early March 2020. Soin and I, we wanted to do this huge leadership conference in Nairobi, where Soin is based, and I know many of you are from Nairobi. So here's the thing: we were doing this leadership, this big campaign, and what we decided is we're going to use a marketing agent, and we spent, I think, over $20,000 in trying to promote that particular event. We were in the newspapers, we were in the radio stations, we were being interviewed, and we sort of spent. And guess what? We were looking for about 300 participants. But all that marketing effort that we made, can anybody give a wild guess as to how many participants we got converted, as participants for that conference? Can anybody give me a guess that we spent over $20,000? What would you expect the sort of traction that we got for that particular conference? Just in the chat, if anybody can give a figure, it would be good. Please, Dimple, Victor, Carol, anybody for that matter. Rebecca. Packed conference. Rebecca, thank you. Packed conference, that's what you would expect, spending so much. Now, here's the truth. And this is true. This is something that Zoin and I went through, and we had 200. Hassan is saying 200. Dimple is saying 25. Victor is saying 150. Fantastic. You can see where you're going here. But you know what? Who's the closest out of this? Dimple is the closest. We got 20. We just got 20. Spent 25,000 or odd dollars or whatever it was, and we just got 20. And we got 280 from our own sort of interaction, online interaction, from Soin going, talking around and, getting all the sponsors. And, we went to businesses as well. I mean, Soin and I, from 7 in the morning till 11 at night, we had a lot of visits we made. And, we got about 300 who were going to come for that conference. Sadly, the conference didn't take place because 18 hours prior to the conference, there was a directive from the government that all events are suspended because of the first case of COVID. That's another story altogether. My point here is, Soin and our head drops when we see that there are these marketing agents, and I'm not, by the way, I don't have any disrespect for marketing agents, but there are some out there who will try selling you the sun and the moon, and you just have to be very careful about that. These are the mistakes that we want to share with you. Anything you want to add to this, Soin?
No, I think Hassan has actually put it on the dot, and this is what we're going to say, and that's actually what we learned, is that we need to stick to online marketing, but we also learned that personal interaction is very important. Personal touch is very key, and this is what we embraced, and that's what we keep on doing, and that's what I enjoy, meeting people and interacting with them, knowing what are their pain points, knowing what are their troubles, and then making sure that we at least attempt to address them. And putting them under the rug doesn't help. So what Vijay has just shared is something what we accept, that yes, we did a mistake, but what we are saying here is that we have also learned from it. And I want to go on to what does the 3M stand for. And again, I would love to push this to the audience and tell me what these 3 M's could be standing for.
Okay, so the first one is marketing. We've agreed on that one.
Of
what do you
course.
think the other two are? Anybody? Come on, guys. Let's get it out. Let's see what you think the other M's are.
As we wait for the answers.
Marketing. Okay.
Marketing, yes.
Hassan, we discussed marketing. What do you think the other two are? Momentum. Ooh. That's a good one. Rebecca just said momentum. Dimple, do you want to be bold enough? Victor, Caroline, anybody? Message. There we go. Medium. Whoa. Yeah. That's pretty good. Message. All right. Anyway, basically, it's not 5 top mistakes we are sharing with you, 7 top mistakes. So the second M stands for managing finance. So I apologize. Shweta is very close, management. So it's managing finance.
Josh talked about it. He has mentioned money. So he's on the ball. Definitely. Thank you.
Brilliant. And I tell you, there are so many who are stuck into looking at historical information. I mean, I've seen companies where they have linear growth forecasts as well. And there are many who think they're profitable. And by the way, this is the truth. Profit does not equate to cash. Yet, the tax person, whether it's Kenya Revenue Authority or whether it's the HMRC or whether it's any revenue authority globally, they want your tax on your profits. If there's somebody from the tax department, please say hi, it's fine. But this is the truth. They want to be paid on the profits, not on your cash flows. And managing finance, my dear friends, is so important. You could be boasting that you got 20% net profit margins, but has it really converted into cash? Because cash is the oxygen of your particular business. Cash is the lifeblood of your particular business. Managing finance is a skill set that you need to really, really look into. Swen, maybe you can share some insights, but this should be a wake-up call, my dear friends. It's very important that you understand that this is a wake-up call that we must all look into. Swen?
I think I think you have clearly summarized the aspects, and of course, social media needs to be properly utilized and clearly directed in the right direction to generate the marketing. What you talked about in terms of managing financial choices made are, to say the least, sometimes pathetic in some instances. For example, buying software which turns out to be white elephants in many instances, investing in many instances without giving deeper thoughts is seen so many times as a real fall into the ditch in many circumstances. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody whom, of course, we were trying to sort out the management of it's a management company running a big estate. Unfortunately, they're not able to clearly carve out the service charges. You got to maintain the place. So the question was, had they clearly calculated what will this space that they have invested in will take and be managed appropriately? And clearly they were flustered. So this is a big problem, and we are facing. So another aspect is, we got to focus on cash and ensure that you're right on the money making recipe, and that should be spot on. We always keep on saying, conduct a cost audit, segregate relations from business. This is you need to be ruthless here. And also choosing between clients and suppliers who are right for the business. In so many instances, you find that you want to stick to a client who is not going to pay you. So why would you want to stick on and continue? I mean, you need to watch out for the signs. So these are some of the things that need to be really taken care of. In one instance, we had a lot of hard fight with the company where we said, you need to go green, you need to invest in solar panels, but the decision was not at all taken. What are the results? You can see right now we're facing rising energy costs. They've risen by almost 50% in Kenya. So, all these things actually end up affecting the bottom line. So I think I'll pause at that and give it to Vijay as we move to the next one.
No, yeah. I think there's one M which we want to basically. Yes. There's one M. So, my dear friends, look, I hope you're getting value so far. We are going to take another 10 minutes of your time. There's a download, by the way, just like what Soin has mentioned. There's going to be a download coming out soon. So you could download the 5 critical questions every business owner must ask in 2023. There's a whole PDF, which all of you will get. Thank you. That's just a thank you from Soin and me. But the last M is more value.
More value.
So what do I mean by more value? you need to add more value. And this is another missing link that we see in many businesses as well, that they don't add more value. Whether it's a small gadget, it could be anything, it could be whatever gadget you have, find out what it is that you can do to add more value. And there are different ways of adding value, just like what Soin and I mentioned about managing finance as well. If you lean up your business, you'll have better efficiencies. You could change your price points if you want to. So it depends on which space you are in, what sector you are in. But what is it that you can do to add more value? Add more value to your stakeholders. That includes your employees as well. Add more value to the business itself, add more value to your customers. How can you really maximize your your asset return on assets as well? So what is it that you can do to add more value? Now here's the thing, here's the beauty, my dear friends, listen to this. When you add more value, not only are you increasing your profits and stream of cash, and not only are you not only are you really growing, but your company value increases, the intangible value starts increasing as well. So you have to look at it from a different lens altogether as well. And when your company value starts increasing, that means your reputation is at a different level, your brand is at a different level, and you will see the growth taking place. So I want you to take attention. If there's one point you can take today, make sure that you look into what is it that you can specifically add value to whatever you're doing. You could be a manager, you could be an executive, you could be a business owner, doesn't matter. What is it that you can do, one thing or two things that is going to add value? And do this exercise every month, every 2 months, depends, whenever you want. But these time investments are going to really help you to scale up and grow. Do you want to add anything to that last point?
I think you've summarized it well. I'm just conscious of the time, and would
Yeah.
like to finish in good time. So we'll move to the next slide. One second. Yeah. What are we talking about here? And this is before we go into that. I would like to share the slides, share the file, the PDF that we had promised. Yes, I have already shared it. Please let me know if you're able to access it. If you have a challenge, we'll definitely be at hand to assist you. Let's talk about the game-changing solution that we're proposing here, and that's it. That's about the free strategy call with us. We are offering a 1-hour call, and we are basically not talking about an ordinary coach. I think I'll give it to Vijay to explain what
Yeah.
he's talking about, lap in the making.
Okay. All right, fine. So before I even ask that, I know, Carol, you got a question. We will answer it towards the end. But here's the thing. When we are talking about we are no ordinary coaches, we keep on saying this is because we want to somehow disrupt this leadership coaching business itself. And we are moving into a different level. We are evolving. And we are talking about LAP. LAP stands for Leadership Accountability Partners. Leadership Accountability Partners. We want to add traction. If you really want to have true traction, that is where you're going to get the grit. What did we tell you earlier on? That we can identify the red flags. That's fine. We can identify the red flags. But there's one thing that you need to do. Change your behavior, have somebody to hold you accountable as well, and somebody who's going to be brutally truthful as to what you really need to to sharpen yourself, to evolve, to move to another level altogether. So this is why we call it LAP, which is Leadership Accountability Partners. That is what we are. That is what Suin and I are. And we all have this discipline that we bring in to make sure that you grow. It doesn't matter whether you're a business owner, whoever you are. This is what we do. Leadership Accountability Partners. Soin and I, we have given these sessions, these impact-driven sessions, leadership impact sessions, to directors, to executives, to managers, to CEOs, all over. So it's different formats, but we we try not calling ourselves coaches as such, because we want to give different value altogether and look at it with a strategy standpoint as well. So that is one of the things. In that particular session, you're going to get a clear business roadmap. We'll even try giving you a personal roadmap as well. The business roadmap is important, but also your personal journey. So we will see how we can help you to see where we can identify any gaps so you have the right balance in place, because you might succeed in business, but you're really happy. So we need to make sure we get that balance right. Like we said, wake up call. We will be identifying red flags as well. Easily add traction to your business or your career as for that particular matter. So again, like I said, if you are a manager or executive, we can still have that session, and we will also give you tips on how you can position yourself. I mean, Soin and I, we are open here. You can see from transparency as well that we share our skill sets. So we position ourselves accordingly with all the videos and everything that we do. We will give you tips and strategies how you can position yourself as well. By the way, we've got over 200 testimonials. I know we have not shared testimonials here. If you go on my LinkedIn profile, you'll get about 19, 20 recommendations already there. Go on our website, we've got quite a few as well. So it's not that we don't walk the talk, we walk the talk, and we make it happen. We are firewalkers at the end of the day. So
Thank you, Vijay. And you've clearly talked about lap in the making and the clear business roadmap that needs to be put in place for many businesses, which clearly lack
by the way, Soin, can you share that link so everybody can sort of have that link,
Yes,
please? Thank you. So there's going to be a link, and you just have to fill in a form. It's a very short form. Just fill in a few details, and we will arrange a call. Absolutely no obligation. I mean, it's a free call, but it's going to give you a lot of personalized value, which is going to help you to skill up and grow. So yes, that is what it is. I think we are almost done. Okay.
yes.
So who is this for? Enthusiastic business owners and leaders, like I mentioned, open-minded and willing to listen. So in fact, Soin and I, we even turn down business if we see that open-mindedness is not there, and we ensure that we only work with business owners who have that open-mindedness and agile and willing to take action. So please take the session if you're willing to take action. It's not only absorbing, but it's about taking action. It's about implementing. It's about course correcting. It's about tweaking. It's about stretching your thinking, but it's about making sure that you do take that particular action. Is that fine, Swin?
Yeah, the link is up and is available for you to book.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Now, my dear friends, thank you for joining. I just want to answer Carol's question. More value as in diversifying products and services. That is one component, Carol, that you can work on. Products and services, one variable that we can look at it. You could pivot, you could go into other verticals, you can look into what is it that you can package differently. For example, if you are in the legal fraternity, what is it that you can include that is going to help you to stand apart? If you see where I'm coming from, again, depends on whatever space you are, but you look into the products and services. You could look into adding value by leaning up operations. If you lean up operations, what's going to happen? Your price point for your products and services will become more attractive as well. If you see your margins, what did Tesla do recently? I know I shared a video on LinkedIn as well, but what did Tesla do recently as well? They went into cost leadership. This is what I believe. And they even fired some people from the management team. And
Yes.
Elon Musk has a different way of looking at things, but there are some lessons we need to learn. Is that despite them dropping the prices of the Tesla models in many countries, what has happened is they're still profitable. When you look at their profit margin, they're still profitable. What does that mean? They have added value by dropping the prices in some shape or form. I hope you get the gist of what I'm trying to get here.
Yeah.
So it's very important you add value. Look into where you can add value. If you can add value in whatever you're doing, it could be even how you use your time, management time. How better can you leverage? What is it that you can do to be more productive? How can you change your priorities so that you can look at what really matters most and what can you delegate? That's all adding value directly or indirectly, if you see where I'm coming from. So see what is it, what are the layers of value that you can add that is going to make an impact and difference. I hope that helps, Carol, sorry. Any other questions anybody has?
I must say that, Vijay, this has been a very interactive session.
Oh
Of
yes.
course, this is the time we say thank you. We welcome any questions that many of our attendees might have. You can always call upon us. Uh, we would be at hand to help you in your leadership
Yes.
journey.
So do you want to share your email address in case anybody wants to reach out to you? If you can just share your email address.
Sure.
If anybody wants to, ask any questions later on, there'll be an email, and you're most welcome to ask any questions, and we will definitely send you some response as well. So Soin will share his email address as well. Most welcome, Dimple. Thank you for guiding us and sharing part of your knowledge. Most welcome. If there's anything else that you want us to share, or if there's anything we can do to help, because we'll be doing these webinars preferably or ideally every month. So that is what we are going to do. So please feel free to reach out. And thanks, Rebecca, as always. I mean, Rebecca is
Absolutely.
a great partner of ours, and please link up with her as well. I think she sent her LinkedIn link. So please, you need to connect with Rebecca as well. And anybody else, if there's anything we can do to help, we are always there, and we are there to help you as much as we can. Most welcome, Victor. We are happy you enjoyed. Sweta, pleasure having you all here as well. Sweta, thanks for your time as well, and I hope you all got value out of what we discussed. And if there's anything we can do to help you further, just reach out. So thank you very much for being here. Insightful session, Josh. Thank you. Rebecca's asked a question. What do you think is the number one challenge that leaders are facing today?
Very good
Carol,
question.
most welcome. Rebecca's question is, what do you think is the number one challenge that leaders are facing today? That's a very good question, Rebecca. And in my opinion, leaders at the moment are sort of juggling. They're trying to juggle a lot of things, so they're multitasking a lot, and there's a lot of overwhelm at this particular point in time. So I personally feel that they need to clear out the road and make sure they delegate properly. So that's what I see, a lot of burnout. And the thing is, because of that, it's affecting their mindset, the mental health itself. So it's affecting the mindset because they're caught up in this particular zone within themselves, which is really not helping them to see the elevated or the reason level altogether. So it's basically that they need to change the platform they are in, and they can only do that is by delegating. And many are fearful as well, because they fear that their team members might leave, or the culture is not good, or the expectations may not be met, so they don't have that piece properly identified. And I feel that leaders need to get that one right, so they get the clarity in place, and then they can have not only a clear vision, but they will be able to see the execution taking place with the right oversight in place. I hope that makes a little bit of sense, Rebecca.
I think I just want to add to what Vijay is saying, but in my view, one of the biggest challenges currently the leaders are facing is to how to demonstrate real sustainable profitability for the company. In the current perspective, with the ongoing inflation at a very high peak. Sorry, I think I am getting some echo here. I don't know if you're getting this
No,
echo.
you're coming out well. I mean,
Okay.
so far.
Sorry about that. So what I was saying is that with the current inflationary pressures that are ongoing across the globe, there is serious need to look at how can this be combated against, because that ends up leading to thin margins. And then the other big challenge that is happening is that there's a lot of disruption, especially with the way technology is being put in play. And this is what leadership need to embrace, the disruption with technology, and how do you combat inflation so that the businesses can be profitable.
So there's a lot of echo on your end.
Yeah.
Something has happened. There's a lot of feedback from your end. But I think what Soin is mentioning is for the business owners themselves, the lack of profitability, that seems to be a big challenge as well, as to how can they have that profit recipe. And this is why we shared these 5 mistakes business owners, which is costing them profits. So this was the whole, this is the whole reason we wanted to share, because of the profitability that they lack. The perspective I was looking at is, when we are talking in the context of leaders, it's not only the business owners, but also directors, executives, their personal way of looking at it, them wearing multiple hats and firefighting and trying to really get better clarity in the journey and moving forward. So that was the difference. But I think you'll see a common pattern from what Soin and I have mentioned. And so I hope that really gives you a little bit of perspective. But what we'll do is, we're going to do another webinar exclusively on leadership as well. We'll come up with a new title and we'll share that with you. We'll be sharing more insights from a leadership standpoint, focusing on what leaders need to really do and how they can really succeed as well. So that's going to be coming in. We'll be talking about emotional intelligence and empathy and other aspects as well, about interconnectedness and coexistence. But that's going to be another webinar that we are going to share some more insights with.
Yes, thank you. I hope I have sorted out the technical edge.
Yeah, you sound as if you're sitting here in London, so yeah, it seems fine. From my end, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I think it's time for us to give this session end. Happy Lisa.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate your time, and we hope you got some value out of what we have discussed today. And we hope you join our forthcoming webinars. Now that you have registered, we'll put you on our list, and we'll send you notification well in advance so that you could see what's ahead. But please sign up for our free session, which is just going to help you to take you and your business to another level altogether. So thank you very much.